Live from WNY News in New York, I'm Lewis Howard with these headlines. Why Trump asked one of his lawyers to lie about returning all of the classified documents he stole from the White House. Why Christina Bobb is talking to the D.O.J., Donald Trump subpoena by the Select Committee investigating the Capitol riot. Trump filed a lawsuit and he defies the committee's subpoena. What will the committee do next? Will the Department of Justice indict Donald Trump? What was Donald Trump's big announcement about? Is he running for president? Why did the Department of Justice appointed a special counsel? Now for the details, please stay tuned. We now know when the department investigators developed evidence that government records were likely concealed and removed from the storage room and that efforts were likely taken to obstruct the government's investigation, the filing states. The Tuesday filing provides the most detailed timeline of the interactions between Trump's team and Justice Department officials ahead of the FBI search. It also includes a photograph of documents labeled Top Secret, with bright yellow borders and redacted pages splayed out on a carpet at Mar-a-Lago. According to NARA, it has reason to believe Trump took some presidential gifts which was missing from the White House. Our senior correspondent Liz Coleman reports.
NARA recently contacted the DOJ to inform them that Donald Trump also took presidential gifts amounting to more than $50,000. These gifts were diamond earrings, expensive golf clubs and a ceremonial golden medal he got from Saudi King bin Salman during his visit to Saudi Arabia. By law, gifts given to the president by foreign leaders has to be turned over to the National Archives, or if the president wants to keep it, he will have to pay the value of the gifts they received. However, the president can only keep little trinkets that valued at least $415, which is started in the Foreign Gifts and Decorations Act of 1966, which is a federal law. Liz Coleman, WNY News in Washington.
In another development, we now know why Donald asked his lawyer to lie about returning all of the classified documents to the National Archives. James Collins has the latest story.
Donald Trump asked his lawyer to lie about returning all of the classified documents he has stolen simply because he wants to keep two of the folders away from the public. One of the folders had NARA letters and other copies. The second folder had NARA Top Secret, plus 3 signing sheets. He was asserting privilege over 35 pages of documents titled Presidential Calls. Trump also was hiding a 2017 letter concerning former Special Counsel Robert Mueller, emails about election fraud lawsuits in Fulton County, Georgia, and deliberations about clemency to a certain mob boss, Ted Sewell, and former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich. Political experts believe these documents he had have something that might indicate he committing a crime because there is no logical reasons why Trump is keeping those folders at his residence. I'm James Collins reporting for WNY News, Florida.
The reason Christina Bobb is now cooperating with the Department of Justice is because she signed a false declaration letter stating that Trump was in compliance with the main grand jury subpoena and no longer has possession of a host of documents with classification marking at his Mar-a-Lago club in Florida. Bobb knowingly lied. There were more classified documents in there. Lying to a judge, DOJ, or the FBI is a federal crime. Bobb knows she has committed a crime, so she is trying to come clean to save herself, while throwing her other colleagues and possibly her boss Donald under the bus. You are listening to WNY News. I'm Lewis Howard. The House Select Committee investigating the January 6, 2021, attack on the U.S. Capitol announced on Friday that the panel has officially sent a subpoena to former President Donald Trump as it paints him as the central figure in the multi-step plan to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election. Capitol Hill senior correspondent, Melissa Owen in Washington reports.
The committee issued the subpoena to try to compel Trump to sit for a deposition under oath and to provide documents. The panel is ordering Trump turn over documents by November 4 and either appear in person or virtually for 1 or more days of deposition testimony beginning on or about November 14. Trump's attorneys said Friday afternoon that they will review the subpoena and respond as appropriate to this unprecedented action. In its subpoena, the committee specifically demands Trump turn over any communications, sent or received during the period of November 3, 2020, to January 20, 2021, with more than a dozen of his close allies who have emerged as key players in the broader plan to overturn the 2020 election. Michael Flynn, Trump's former national security advisor; Roger Stone, a longtime Republican operative, pardoned by Trump; Stephen Bannon, former Trump advisor, convicted of contempt of Congress; Rudy Giuliani, Trump's former attorney; Jeffrey Clark, a former Justice Department official; John Eastman, a conservative attorney who worked with Trump to overturn 2020 election; and Christina Bobb, a former One America News Network host and current Trump lawyer. Others are Jenna Ellis, a former member of Trump's legal team; Sidney Powell, a former member of Trump's legal team; Kenneth Chesbrough, an attorney behind legal theories for overturning 2020 election; Boris Epshteyn, a Trump advisor; Cleta Mitchell, an attorney who worked with Trump campaign after 2020 election; and Patrick Byrne, a former Overstock CEO and election denier. The panel's request for communications includes Trump's Signal Communications. The committee also notes that it wants Trump to testify about his interactions with several individuals, including people on the same list, who invoked their Fifth Amendment rights when questioned by the committee about their dealings with the former president. Trump defied the committee's subpoena and filed a lawsuit to block it. The J6 committee only options is to hold Trump in contempt of Congress or filed a lawsuit for the court to compel him to testify or face jail term. Melissa Owens, WNY News, Capitol Hill.
In the latest development, Attorney General Merrick Garland said he's charged former Justice Department prosecutor Jack Smith with overseeing two major Justice Department investigations concerning former President Donald Trump to best serve the public interest. Smith will be in charge of supervising the criminal investigation into whether or not an individual or entity interfered with the transfer of power after the 2020 presidential election, as well as the probe into whether classified records and documents taken from Trump's Florida home. The announcement comes 3 days after Trump launched his third run for the White House. Richard Jackson has the rest of this important story.
The Attorney General, Garland, called Smith the right choice to complete these matters in an even-handed and urgent manner. Smith most recently worked at the International Criminal Court at The Hague in the Netherlands, investigating and prosecuting war crimes. The D.O.J. said Smith conducted sensitive investigations of foreign government officials and militia members on charges related to war crimes, crimes against humanity, and genocide. From 2008 to 2010, he had served as the investigation coordinator in the International Criminal Court Prosecutor's Office. From 2010 to 2015, Smith served as the head of the DOJ's Public Integrity Unit, which oversees investigations and prosecution of federal crimes affecting government integrity, according to the DOJ. This includes tackling cases like bribing government officials and election crimes, investigating and prosecuting elected and appointed officials of all levels. Richard Jackson, WNY News, Washington.
By appointing a special counsel to continue the investigation into Donald Trump's handling of the classified documents he stole from the White House, and his active role he played in trying to overturn the 2020 presidential election results means, the DOJ has enough evidence and will indict Donald Trump. Here is why. Senior Legal Political Analysis, Emmanuel Johnson has the details.
The Department of Justice has enough evidence to indict, charge, and prosecute Donald Trump. Let's talk about that. It's possible that the DOJ could bring 6 charges against Trump. We outline these charges along with some examples to prove their case against Donald Trump. First is 18 U.S.C. Code 793. Retention of National Defense Information which state that a person who unlawfully possesses or has access to information respect the national defense, and who discloses that information in some unauthorized manner may be imprisoned up to 10 years and/or fined up to $250,000. Example, some of the documents Trump took were marked top defense secrets. Second, 18 U.S.C. 2071. Concealing of government property. Whoever, having the custody of any such record, proceeding, map, book, document, paper, or other thing, willfully and unlawfully conceals, removes, mutilates, obliterates, falsifies, or destroys the same, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 3 years, or both, and shall forfeit his office and be disqualified from holding any office under the United States. Examples, Trump willfully and unlawfully started keeping these documents in his White House bedroom during his first term in office. He asked his lawyers to lie about returning all of the classified documents back when he didn't. He asked his aide to move the documents from the storage room. Next is 18 U.S.C. Code 641. The United States government, through its many departments and cabinet agencies, employs numerous individuals and owns substantial amounts of valuable property. When individuals embezzle or steal any of this valuable property, they may be subject to prosecution for the serious federal crime of theft of government property in violation of Title 18, Section 641 of the United States Code. Example: the gifts Trump got from Saudi Arabia King Ben Salman. He stole them from the White House. Trump could also be charged with obstruction of justice. 18 U.S.C. Code 1519 states, whoever knowingly alters, destroys, mutilates, conceals, covers up, falsifies, or makes a false entry in any record, document, or tangible object with the intent to impede, obstruct, or influence the investigation or proper administration of any matter within the jurisdiction of any department or agency of the United States or any case filed under Title 11, or in relation to or contemplation of any such matter or case, shall be fined under this title, imprisoned not more than 20 years, or both. Example: Trump falsely claimed the classified documents were his personal property. The fifth charge is criminal contempt. 18 U.S.C. Code 402. Any person, corporation or association willfully disobeying any lawful writ, process, order, rule, decree, or command of any district court of the United States or any court of the District of Columbia, by doing any act or thing therein, or thereby forbidden, if the act or thing so done be of such character. Example: Trump failed to comply with the D.O.J. subpoena, so they have to search his home to retrieve the documents he had at Mar-a-Lago. And the last want is false statements to federal investigators. 18 U.S.C. Code 1001. United States Code, Section 1001 makes it a crime to 1. Knowingly and willfully, 2. Make any materially false, fictitious or fraudulent statement or representation, 3. In any matter within the jurisdiction of the executive, legislative or judicial branch of the United States. Example: Trump falsely claimed he declassified all of the documents just by thinking about it. We strongly believe the lead charge would be under the Espionage Act because it applies hand in glove to the activities, but there would be other charges like theft of government property, but the obstruction of justice charge seems to be a strong case which could land Donald Trump in prison if he is found guilty of committing these serious federal crimes. Emmanuel Johnson for WNY News, Washington.
The 2 times impeached former President Donald Trump announced on Tuesday that he was running for President of the United States for the 3rd time. During his announcement, Trump was surrounded by allies, advisors, and conservative influencers. Trump delivered a relatively subdued speech, rife with spurious and exaggerated claims about his 4 years in office. Despite a historically divisive presidency and his own role in inciting an attack on the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021, Trump aimed to evoke nostalgia for his time in office, frequently contrasting his first-term accomplishments with the Biden administration's policies and the current economic climate. Speaking to his supporters, Trump seems to be weak at this time to become the GOP nominee because he is a loser and many white evangelical and some of his supporters are running away from him. Thanks for watching.